Hey guys, so today I just wanted to kind of film like a little touch-up video, update video, as I get ready for the day. So my best friend Andrea is actually coming in she already came in from Italy like last night. She moved there for schooling to become a lawyer. So now she graduated, now she's here finally. I haven't seen her for I think like a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years. So I'm really looking forward to seeing her. I've been like counting down the days actually. I always do when she comes. I'm really excited to see her and her fiance. My skin feels super dry lately. Yeah, so lately I've been feeling yesterday was a good day other than the fact that I don't know if you guys saw my little kind of like rant video yesterday, but other than the fact that I didn't have food right away, I guess I was just hangry for the most part. But other than that, yesterday was a pretty good day. I didn't have any like dramatic or freak out episodes. I wasn't super anxious, wasn't super angry, minus the dinner issue. Yesterday I also experimented with grass-fed beef, so grass-fed and hormone-free beef. I don't know if you guys know, but recently I was saying how like definitely certain types of foods really affects the way that I am through a day. So for example, dairy, first of all, I'm lactose intolerant all of a sudden. That's unfortunate. But dairy, when I did have dairy, or when dairy sneaks in, besides it giving me like, the runs and everything great like that, it actually makes me super anxious, like to the point where I just can't even understand like what is going on and why I'm so anxious. Now that I'm lactose intolerant, I don't touch dairy knowingly. But yeah, I'd recommend that if you are, suffer from anxiety or depression, I would honestly try an elimination diet. That's what I started doing when I was really ill and just kind of learning about my fibromyalgia. And I've learned that, yeah, dairy before I was lactose intolerant made me super anxious, I would say super anxious for the most part. And it really inflamed, like in the face. Well, dairy is like an inflammatory. So especially my partner, he suffers from chronic sinusitis, and whenever he has dairy, he just instantly feels inflamed all over his face. So look into that. But one of the other things that really bothered me was beef. So for me to actually experiment with beef yesterday was pretty scary. I also experimented with ghee yesterday. So being lactose intolerant, I usually cook my foods in tallow or lard. So that's like beef fat or pork fat. And I just didn't have any on me yesterday. So I sent my mom to go grab ghee, which is Indian clarified butter. So when butter is clarified, there's almost no lactose, and if there is, it's like such a small trace of lactose that it shouldn't affect anyone that's lactose intolerant. So I thought, let's be spontaneous and let's be brave and let's try beef and ghee yesterday. So as you guys can see, I'm pretty happy and functioning for the most part. Usually when I have beef before, especially, this never happened when I had grass-fed beef, but whenever I would get like, the regular beef cuts from like Superstore or Safeway or Save-Ons, whatever, it's all beef that is pumped with like hormones and filler. So every time I would have that type of beef, I would just go, it's kind of like funny talking about it when I'm healthy because my boyfriend calls it like beef rage. So I'd go into like beef rage, and he says like he can really see it in the eyes. So when I have beef and it's bad beef, I get so furious. Like I turn into a crazy person. I act irrational. Like I fume with anger. It's nuts. And like you guys can see, like for the most part, I'm a pretty calm, kind, collected person, but when I have beef that has fed hormones and all that extra filler, it changes me. Like, literally explaining it, like, it possesses me into becoming crazy. So I was really, really thankful that eating that grass-fed beef and ghee yesterday did not make me flare up or act crazy at all. Like, I'm so thankful, because when I was eating that meal, my body actually felt like, oh yes, beef, like nutrition. Because lately, because I have kind of been yeah, it's weird, my body will like crave meat, and then sometimes it just will not want meat. Like, it'll just be so disgusted with meat. So I'm kind of like, I haven't found the right diet for me yet, but all I know for diet for the most part is you have fibromyalgia or any like chronic illness that really affects like your body pain. Like, I would really suggest do your research into dairy, because it's so inflammatory. And also, if you do eat a lot of beef that is not grass-fed and you still feel like on your health journey you're still feeling really, really anxious or maybe aggravated a lot, I'd also maybe experiment with beef. Like I said, maybe start an elimination diet. That like tremendously helped me. So for the most part right now, my diet really consists of like meat and then starch. So potatoes or root vegetables I really like. I really don't eat a lot of green leafy vegetables. No. Sometimes I'll have rice as like my main carb. But other than that, I don't really eat too many fruits or vegetables. It sounds crazy, but I would recommend doing your research also on vegetables. There's a lot of vegetables out there that are actually nutritious, so they're actually bad for you. I know that's kind of like a hard thing to swallow, especially because mainstream has been telling us like eat your grains, eat your vegetables, eat your fruits. But if you look into it more, you'll learn that green leafy vegetables, for example, they don't have any defense mechanism. So if you're thinking about like predator and prey, and if you're thinking about like their environment, their ecosystem, those green leafy vegetables don't have anything to defend themselves. Like, they can't fleet, right, when they're getting preyed on. So they actually have anti-nutrients in them, so that when they're ingested by a fellow predator, they release these anti-nutrients, and it really affects that predator who just ate the vegetable. So look into that. Your mind will explode. So I don't really touch vegetables. I don't eat fruit too much. I actually treat fruit like candy. So when I am craving something sweet, I will have like a pear, for example. Also look into fruits that have lots of seeds in them, because those can be high in lectins or oxalates. Look into all of that, because like, you're on your health journey anyways. I want to be able to give you guys any advice or anything that could someday help you. So really look into your diet. I'm a really big believer in mental health and diet, because diet really, really affects how I feel on a day-to-day basis. Also, I had a really good sleep last night. Usually, suffering from anxiety and depression, I have like shitty sleeps where I'll wake up in the middle of the night for no reason, and my heart will be thumping, and I'll think I'll have to go to the washroom, so I'll go to the washroom, and then I pee, and then like, it's not like I really had to pee, do you know what I mean? And that usually happens to me when I'm not feeling good and I'm super anxious. But yesterday was phenomenal. Like, I've been practicing this thing called REM sleep, so I also recommend you look into REM sleep. It's kind of how the body works with processing things that happen during that day. So for example, if something really, really traumatic or something happened to you during a day that made you either cry or upset or angry, anxious, etc., and if you go to bed that night past like 12 midnight, for example, your body actually doesn't get what it needs to process that memory for you to actually feel better in the morning. So when you miss that time lapse of REM sleep and you go to bed past that, you actually wake up the next morning feeling like shit all over again, because your body didn't properly process that memory or that fact. So yesterday was actually the first day that I really got to practice REM sleep. So I went to bed at 10 last night, and I was just really, really, really excited to go to bed to try it. And I woke up at 5 a.m. feeling so peaceful and so calm with myself. Like, no anxiety, no depression, no negative thoughts, nothing. And then I just felt so well rested. So you know what? You're not supposed to, but I did. I went back to sleep for a few more hours. I just was so warm in bed, and it's so cold here in Canada, so can't blame me. I went back to bed for a few more hours, and then when I woke up at 8 o'clock, same thing. I felt so calm, so relaxed, and it was just like, wow. So I'm definitely going to be trying that tonight, and like they're like ongoing after. So I really recommend you look into that also. It was just crazy. This is why I wanted to start the video. So actually, so I've been taking a few mental days off at work because I really need it. Like, when I say I need it, I know that my body needs it. So actually what happened was my partner is taking care of our business at our business, and he actually asked me if I could come in today. And before that text message, I was like, all fine and dandy. And then when I received it, my heart literally fell to my stomach, and I was like, oh fuck, like, why do I feel this way? It literally struck my heartbeat, and my heart kept pumping so much faster than it was just like a minute before that text. So I told him, like, I feel so bad. And this is another problem. People with fibromyalgia tend to be more type A personality. So if you feel like you put others before you, or you always had like a really, really strong work ethic, like you have to get things done right now, nothing can wait. If it waits, you're lazy. That's how I've been conditioned my whole life. And it's like crazy, because I feel like it really has taken effect of my body, and that's, I think, why I've got into fibromyalgia, because fibromyalgia is mental. It is a mental disorder, and it's crazy. But so once I got that text message, I got anxious, I got fearful, my heart dropped to my stomach, and I didn't really know why. So in that moment, I really wanted to explore, like, why is this happening to me? Why did I just have like a great morning, and then all of a sudden when he asked me to come in, it just triggered my emotions? Well, actually, when I thought about it, it made like complete sense. So that was the last place where I had like my last mental breakdown, was actually at our store. So I think just thinking about that, and him asking me to come in, that really triggered me and bringing all that fear again. And I just knew by my reaction, I'm not ready to go in there right now, especially like I feel for the most part really fine and strong. However, I did notice today and yesterday that I have been struggling with staying in control of my thoughts, my own thoughts. So it's something that we call our subconscious. So when you are healthy, and when I mean healthy, I mean like you have full control of your thoughts. When you're healthy, you shouldn't really be affected by your subconscious. Like, you should actually be the one in control of what's actually being said in your head. Sounds kind of hard. But for example, when you're feeling low, or when you're anxious or depressed, do you ever hear that little voice in your head that tells you, like, you can't do that, or you're a failure, you're not worthy enough, you're not beautiful enough? That's in your subconscious. So those are all thoughts, unwanted thoughts that your body is processing through your head. So I realized today and yesterday that I have lost my control of that a little bit. So that's what I base my decision off of not going in today, because I know that if I go in, if you look at the big scenario, so I had my last mental breakdown there. So if I go in today, not having control of my subconscious and allowing those voices in my head to take control of my rational thinking, it just, to me, sounds like one big recipe of disaster. Like, I don't see how that scenario at all could benefit me right now. And then I also thought, like, well, do I go in and do I become strong and use that as like practice? But my body both my body and my mind was telling me, you know what, you really need to get it together before I step foot in there again, because it's so traumatizing. Like, it's so traumatizing to have, I felt like I had to relive what happened a few days ago during my mental breakdown, because I had to understand why does my body not, like, why is it in fear right now, even though all he did was ask me if I could come in. And that's because I guess I haven't really processed it. Like, it kind of happened and then I didn't want to think about it. And the truth is, like, it really breaks my heart what happened. And I described it in my journal as being, like, I was so powerless, because in that moment where I was having my breakdown, I couldn't control myself. And it was literally like, through those eyes in that moment, I could, like, see my partner just hurting inside from what I was doing or saying. And in that moment, I was not in control. I was a bystander, and my body was on autopilot, and it was just acting the way that it acts when I'm not healthy and when I don't have control of my subconscious thoughts. So it's so hurtful. Like, if I can make it relatable, when you're fighting with your partner or your friend, for example, and you guys could be fighting about something so small, or talking, not even fighting, talking about something so small, but in that moment something triggered you to just be almost irrational. Like, you're angry about the topic, or you're so opinionated about the topic, but you really have no reason to be, or you don't know why you're acting that way. And now this conversation has turned into, like, this full-blown argument because you were acting irrational. Do you know what I mean? And then later time passes, and then you think back and go, wow, I am crazy. It's kind of what I'm talking about. I don't know if you guys experience that, but it's kind of what I go through when I'm hitting my lows. But yeah, so I've been feeling a lot better since I've been at home, taking some time to myself. I don't know if that's because I've been not eating food court food, which I must honestly say, if you are a sufferer of anything, or even if you're not, I would highly recommend you try definitely doing the elimination diet to really see what food sits well with you and what don't. Because what happens over time is, when we're eating and especially if you live in North America like I do, sorry guys, you won't be able to see me for a little bit. If you're eating all this shit processed food every single day, you are conditioning your body to be okay with that. Your body is kind of just adapting, and you don't really notice when something's really truly affecting you. So I used to think, like, it was all crazy to think, like, that food had such a big impact on the way we feel. But since doing that elimination diet, it is crazy. Like, the minute I have for example, any type of polyunsaturated fat. So polyunsaturated fats like canola oil, palm oil, stuff like that, I feel inflamed. So especially if you have fibromyalgia or any type of chronic body pain, I would highly recommend you actually try even for like a week. If a month sounds crazy, but try for a week eliminating all polyunsaturated fats from your diet. So what does this look like? That doesn't just mean stop cooking with canola oil or palm oil. That means when you're grocery shopping or whenever you're consuming food, actually look in the ingredients. You will be astonished by how much polyunsaturated fat is in our diet. And in things that, like, just as an example, do you guys like Sunny D? I used to love chugging Sunny D as a kid. Like, even now when I see Sunny D in the market, I would love Sunny D. So I recently looked in the ingredients of Sunny D, and besides it having, like, obviously terrible things for you, it has in Sunny D, you guys, has canola oil and also homogenized homogenized oil in our drinks. That's not the only drink that has oil. So if that doesn't scare you, also think about, just seriously, go to the grocery store, look at all the items that you would normally buy and see how much polyunsaturated fat's in it. Kind of gets conspiracy theory, but you know, I would just highly recommend you cut out polyunsaturated oils and see how your body feels. And then once you feel like you've done enough cleanse of the polyunsaturated fats, I would highly recommend that you now try to introduce a polyunsaturated fat. And don't do that by just eating like a cookie that has oil in it. Do that by actually cooking like a really clean meal. So for example, cook some chicken with rice or potatoes, whatever, and use polyunsaturated as your base and see how it makes you feel. I'd love to know. Oh God, I can't use my right hand because it's so broken. I would love to know if you guys notice a difference, because I noticed it instantly. And now whenever I have polyunsaturated fat, my body feels inflamed. Another one that really, really bungs me up and I'm actually really sad about is pork. So for the longest time, I've tried to be like a pork advocate, and you know, I straight up love how pork tastes. I'm sorry, it's just been my meat growing up because of my heritage. So I've ate lots of pork in my life and I love it. But the minute I gave pork up and brought it back into my diet, I immediately would feel, okay, so with fibromyalgia, your body, like you feel pain in your whole entire body for like no apparent reason, like debilitating pain. It's crazy. So when I eat pork, I feel instantly in my legs. My leg pain is so bad, it's not even worth eating pork. Peanuts does that to me too. Any type of peanut by itself or peanut oil inflames my body. So I just don't touch those things right now. I just bought really good quality pork on my grocery shop yesterday. So I will let you guys know how that kind of plays out. Because I really, really hope that I don't have to cut out pork like forever. I hope I can just have like good farmed pork and not feel inflamed. So I'm probably gonna try. I don't want to test it out tonight because I've just been doing so good and I don't want to have a bad day if I test it out. So I'll be testing it maybe tomorrow, or maybe if I test it tonight then the bad will get over sooner. I don't know. So I'll test it out, but I'll definitely let you guys know. Yeah, I just wanted to share kind of where I'm at today and also really voice how strongly I feel about diet and being in control of your subconscious thoughts. Where did I just put that brush? So, yeah, whenever you get those negative thoughts in your head, do me a favor and try this exercise. So, for example, when I hear in my head, like, there's something wrong with me, I'm sick, I'm never gonna get better, I don't deserve to bring other people who love me down because they're going through this illness with me, when I hear that kind of stuff in my head, I say, Cassandra, that is so stupid. I am so worthy, I am so strong, and I'm going to keep going until I find what really, really makes me feel better. You have to. It might feel weird the first time you do it, but I'm promising you guys, once you get in that habit and do it, all your subconscious thoughts will shrink and they'll become like this. And the minute they come like this and you say it out loud, you say it and you blow that thought away, I'm telling you, it's so life-changing, because really the battle for like battling anxiety, depression, chronic illnesses, fibromyalgia, like anything in that area, it all starts right here. And I seriously mean that. And I mean that your mental health is health. It really is. And you need to start researching and being aware that, sure, we can go to the doctor. We can go to the doctor. We can get depressant pills or antidepressant pills. We can get something for anxiety. We can get Prozac, whatever. But I'm telling you, those are just masking your symptoms, and it's not getting to the underlying cause of why you feel that way. It's not. So I just can't stress enough how much to heal is all in your head. It really is. It's this mind-body connection, okay? And the reason why, if you read this book, I'm reading this book, and it's by Francine Shapiro. It's called How to Get Over Your Past, How to Get Past Your Past. And she believes in psychotherapy and EMDR. So EMDR is just a term used in psychotherapy, and it's all about eye movements, but I won't get into that right now. But something that stood out so much to me is that she had one group of patients that were trauma victims or anxiety, depression, blah blah blah, the one group, and they were on antidepressants and things for anxiety. That was one group. She had another group that was like all the same symptoms, same problems, but they didn't use any pills. They just did her EMDR her therapy. So the group who did the therapy also with her, but continued to use their pills and blah blah, after 6 months of no therapy, but the pills, they still had those issues. The other group that didn't use the pills and just used the therapy had no more issues. And that's because those people that weren't using the pills actually got to focus on healing within. So dealing with those things that happened to us in our past that we buried for years and years and just try to forget about them. Those people were healed. But the people who relied on their antidepressants or whatever, they were still going through all the pain. And it's because there is a correlation between mind and body. There really is. So I'm going to leave you off today with that in mind. And if you guys want, the book is called How to Get Past Your Past by Francine Shapiro. But if you guys are really serious about it and you guys want to know exactly what I did, follow my journey. Join me, because I'm telling you, I am so okay with being kind of like the test subject and trying out all these crazy things that normal people wouldn't really think about. Like I know that when I first started my health journey, I never would have thought like, oh, diet, like what I eat affects me. Like I love food too much. That sounds kind of awful to me, but you know what? It's true. So I'm going to leave you off with that note. If you'd like to join my journey, subscribe, comment, whatever. You can also follow me on Twitter. It's Healing Jade. So my middle name is Jade. Yeah, but I'd love to be here for you guys. And before I started off with that book, I actually started reading, it's called How to Heal Back Pain. Even though I wasn't reading it for back pain, and that book has back in the title, that book is like 10% book, and the rest is all about the mind-body connection. So I'd really, really recommend you looking into both those books that I told you guys about. And also, if you want another thing to explode your brain in your healing process, take a look at what you're putting on your face and body, as in skincare and cosmetics, because you'd be surprised to see what's actually in there and what those ingredients actually mean and how they affect us in the long-term health-wise. Other than that, I'm sending you guys all peace, love, joy, and happiness. Take care, guys.